France 28, Springboks 29. The Bokke edge out the hosts. The holders edge out the hosts. The back to back is still alive. We still here. We still here. What a game. There's no other way to describe this. I didn't think we could top the All Blacks Island game, but this was very much on par. Two cracking games, but this Springbok France game, holy, I've got no hair as it is, but the little bit of hair that I did have is now gone. That's how nervous I was watching that game. I almost switched the game off and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to watch the highlights at the end. I can't take this. What a game, man. Atmosphere, the crowd, every call, the crowd was going crazy. That French crowd is mental. Two great anthems. Like at one point, I had the game on mute, but I could still hear the crowd. That's how loud that crowd was. And I'm sitting here in Australia. What a game. 29 to 28. Oh man, where do I start? Collisions at the start, the intensity, just the collisions, the mere collision, every tackle, every ruck, just like I'm getting sore talking about it. At the start, I think the Springboks missed a couple tackles, which I was like, this is very unlike the Springboks. And I'm pretty sure, you're right in my notes here, at the 60th minute, yeah, at the 60th minute, Springboks had 30 plus missed tackles. Whew, that either just shows that maybe France didn't capitalize on that, or Springboks' scrambled defense was amazing. Talking about that, Peter Steph Toy's scramble defense, I think he made up for all those missed tackles. He was just running across the field. You miss a tackle, he's like, don't worry, but I got you. That was Peter Steph Toy. Oh, what a game. I'm going to stay on the Bokke. It was definitely a game plan. Part of their game plan was the up and under kicks. We all know South Africa are known for kicking, but I feel like they have over the past 2 or 3 years have changed their style of kicking or their game plan around kicking. Instead of just kicking to kick to get rid of the ball, they are more kicking in an attacking sense where you can put pressure on the ball to contest and hopefully get the ball back, which they did a lot of times. Up and on, I mean, and then there was even so much so that they had Peter Steph Toy hanging out on the wing for that reason. Marnie Lebok was putting up and unders in the corner for Peter Steph Toy to contest. And they did so. He knocked it out, and Kirtley Aronsa went over to score. And I think the box kind of needed that to settle everything down, because I'm jumping a bit ahead here, but France come out firing in the first quarter, the first 10, 15 minutes. I thought, where's this physicality from the French pack been? Yes, they've been physical to a point, but against lesser teams, you would say. Yes, they beat the All Blacks, and the All Blacks at the moment favorites. But other than that, they didn't really, like I said in the last week's podcast, they didn't really have many other tough opponents. And to see them come how they started, how French forward pack started, just dominating, and how they scored that first try, tough runs, hard runs, and scored, cut back to score in the corner. But yeah, I am jumping across the two, but man, what an absolute game. I think both, it was almost both teams, part of both teams' game plan to use the up and under as an attacking tool. So both teams were using the up and under, and both were trying to contest then for the ball. Bokke, as always, very, very physical. France didn't get much front foot ball. Like, man, and that's credit. I think a big credit to Jesse Creel. There was especially before the World Cup, there was a lot of kind of negative talk around him. Yes, Lucanio Arm got injured and he was the next man to fill in, but there's a lot of chat or negative chat around him. And I really think he's put his hand up this World Cup. He's done extremely well in organizing South Africa's defense. When he knows exactly when to rush, when to hold back, when to put someone under pressure, when to not, when to call players over when they're outnumbered on one side. He's done really well in that regard. I think one of the biggest moments of this game, maybe of the World Cup, Cheslin Colby's charge down. That could have been 2 points. Springboks only won by 1 point. And right after that charge down, they kicked off. South Africa got a great turnover, awareness that then when you turn over, shift the ball, shift the point of attack. They shifted the ball, Jesse Creel, awareness, grubber into space, and you're not stopping Colby. If you have to turn around and still try and chase Cheslin Colby, it's not happening, pal. The right time. I thought when Eben got the yellow card, it was going to be very interesting to see how the game was then going to play out. I do think it was a fair yellow card. I think if it got escalated to a red card, there would have been a lot of question marks. But Springboks did well to they only conceded 3 points when Etzebeth was off. So, man, hats off there. Playing less numbers against this French team. It's the same with the All Blacks. They did it as well. So, massive credit to them. Steven Kitshoff, strong as always in the scrums. Very strong. Holds his anchor in that scrum and then loves a turnover to the big fella. Loves a turnover. There was a question. I had a couple mates message me, Khaleesi sub with a question mark. The game plan, though, to bring Kwagga Smith on and then Dion Fourie on. And how many balls did they steal at ruck time? I lost count. Those two on, it's like, and I think I said it with Sam Kane and Ardie Savea, it's like having an extra 2 players on the field. When guys of that caliber or that style of play come onto the field, when the amount of impact Dion Fourie and mainly Kwagga Smith had when they came on the field, not just around ruck time, but those extra tackles, those tough carries. Kwagga Smith just looks like he's so thick too, and just very difficult to tackle. Very difficult to tackle. You know, too, it's like when guys have the cauliflower ears, you're like, don't mess with that guy. When you got a crooked nose like that, don't mess with that guy. But so I think that was a big game plan or a big impact, like the impact that the bench had for the Springboks there was massive. Jumping over to France. Oh, I do. Lastly, before jumping over to France, Springboks changing it up with backing themselves to go for tries won them this game. There was a chance where we could have taken the 3 points, went to touch, messed or bottled the line out. So missed that line out. Play went on and there would have been that many. So me included, was angry. Could have taken the points. Penalty happened again in a kickable position. And instead we went for the old school tap and play. Tap and jaw. Eben Etzebeth strolled next to the post. Not strolled. I mean, he had like 5 French players on him and scored in that. We then went 1 point ahead with the conversion. And Andre Pollard slotting that 50-meter penalty. Come on, man. Oof. Lovely. Jumping over to France, man, gutted. They would be gutted. There's a special team that they have there. Again, if you're on the other side of the draw, you could have got through. But, man, if you want to be crowned the world champs, you got to beat the best. And they just came up against a physical South Africa team that can play. That did play the full 80. So I said France were physical in the first quarters. Yes, in bits and pieces throughout. But, man, when they had to make subs, when players got injured, I think when Jalabert got injured and had to come off, They didn't have an out-and-out 10 that could come back on and help. But honestly, man, I think if DuPont wasn't playing, the score would have blown out. That guy single-handedly had France on his back. I was just like, okay, boys, what can we do? I don't know. That sounded Russian. But he's so good. His awareness of the game is just it's like he's watching it in slow-mo, like he's a player playing it. And everyone is on easy mode, and he's just like, I'm the 99 player with 99 speed, 99 strengths, like 99 vision. So good. His ability as well to execute what he's thinking in his head. Crazy, crazy. Um, yeah, at one point I've written down here in the second half, how does he do it? Dupont down the blind side, chip kick, didn't gather it, made the tackle, then steals the ball. He's now at ruck time as well. Yeah, I must say, him with that headgear on, you could put a 6 on his back and say, turn that 9 upside down. Let's go. Let's steal some balls at ruck. I didn't like that he come out after the game and said that the ref had a few shocking calls. Come on, man. I thought Ben O'Keefe had a game. He had a really good game. I think the 50-50 calls went both ways. Are you telling me that that crowd of crazy French fans didn't sway the ref a couple times, or the TMO a couple times? They were so loud, man. Like, for him to come out and say the ref had a shocker is that's petty, man. That is petty. But the Springboks march on, baby. Their back-to-back is alive. We'll play England in the semi. We all know what happens when the Springboks play England. I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm confident. I'd say I'm confident going. Something can still happen, but I'm eyeing out an All Blacks Springbok final, babe. And you know what happened the last time All Blacks and the Springboks were in a final? Francois Pienaar won. 1995. I think, yeah, that was it. Yeah, I had to think there for a second. Anyway, guys, hit the comments. Tell me what you think of the game. I thought it was a cracking game, and I can't wait for the semis. Hit the subscribe, like, all that. Been loving it, guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye.